A bill titled Books Save Lives Act was introduced by Massachusetts Representative Ayanna Pressley on December 14, 2023. This bill aims to preserve underrepresented communities in the world of literature through requirements set against libraries and schools that have federal funding. These requirements include keeping a trained librarian on staff, housing books drawn or written by underrepresented members, and maintaining a wide variety of books about underrepresented communities. The bill states that any proof of discrimination by not following these rules will be taken at face value right away as a violation of the four main discrimination laws. After the bill is passed, the Comptroller General will be required to produce a report covering how bans of books impact the underrepresented communities. The bill provides definitions, 3 of which are self-explanatory. Underrepresented communities is defined as any community whose discrimination against would violate the Civil Rights Act, Americans with Disabilities Act, Rehabilitation Act, or Education Amendments of 1972. It also includes members of racial groups, sexual orientation groups, religious communities, and people with disabilities. Primary impact: much like any other market, literature will have certain supply and demand requirements for efficient production of books, to include types of books, like paperbacks, electronic, audio, etc., genre of books, or overall themes. Forcing the inclusion of books of any kind, type, or style creates an unfair level of supply and demand that disturbs the nature of natural market. In order to achieve a level of appropriate or desirable books in circulation, including in preservation at libraries across the nation, individuals will need to make the choices for themselves, to include children, monitored somewhat by their parents. This will send the same market signals that buying certain cereal brands does to production companies. Secondary impact: forcing libraries to maintain certain types of books, regardless of revenue generation, will cause unnecessary costs to pile up, as properly maintaining books is not cheap to begin with. This is not to say that any books that would fall under the categories described should not be kept in a library or they are inferior to those not being considered. Literature, regardless of its origin or its intent, must be preserved for the merit of the art form of wordcraft rather than agendas. Other books more deserving could be removed in order to allow for books being protected by federal interest to be kept instead.